Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. We're thrilled to have you join us for today's webinar on specifically leveraging technology to accelerate firm-wide growth. So we're especially excited to have Andy from Whitley Penn with us. He should be on camera there, who will be sharing his insights and his experiences on how his firm has successfully navigated this journey. So thank you, Andy, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. And then we also want to extend our thanks to all of you for taking the time to participate in today's webinar. We truly appreciate your attendance, and we look forward to a valuable session together. So let's move into the agenda. We'll begin with some introductions. I'll introduce myself. I'll have the pleasure of introducing Andy, and then I'll give a brief overview about Whitley Penn. Andy will then get into the details of the firm, Whitley Penn. So from there, we'll dive into the main topic or discussion of this webinar and conclude with a 5 to 7 minute question and answer session, depending on how much time we have left. So this is me. Let's start a little bit about me. It's a pleasure to meet everybody. My name is Legend, and yes, that is my real name. I'd love to say that it's a title, but no, it's just my legal first name. I'm a senior customer success manager here at Suralink, and my expertise lies in helping accounting firms streamline their, more particularly their PBC processes by leveraging technology, and specifically through Suralink, which is a document request list management software. So that's a little bit about me. Now, I do, and I am thrilled to introduce our panelist today, Andy Hines. With over 11 years of experience, so 13 years of experience in public accounting. Andy has worked with a diverse range of clients across industries like private equity, manufacturing, healthcare, and more. He's not only a seasoned auditor, but also leads the Audit Innovation and Technology Initiative at Whitley Penn. Andy is deeply involved in the community, serving as a treasurer for Helping Restore Abilities and having supported other nonprofits in the Fort Worth area. His leadership, extends beyond his professional work. He's an alumnus of Leadership Fort Worth and even took part in Nexus Global Exchange Program in Australia. On top of that, Andy was recognized as one of Fort Worth Business Press's 40 under 40 last year. So huge congrats there. And he earned both his BBA and Master's in Accounting from the University of Texas at Arlington. So very, very excited to have him share his insights with us today. Andy, hopefully that introduction was good enough.
That was great, Legend. Thank you.
So I also have the pleasure of giving a brief introduction to Whitley Penn. Now, Whitley Penn is a major player in the accounting world with over 40 years of experience and a strong focus on regulatory compliance, tax strategy, optimization, and using technology to streamline audits, consulting, and tax processes. So the firm's dedication to building strong client relationships has driven impressive growth. With 9 locations across Texas and New Mexico, Whitley Penn is one of the largest firms in the region and ranks 35th nationwide, according to Accounting Today. So I'll give the time over to Andy to actually give us an overview of the firm. And Andy, you could just let me know when to move through the different slides.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Legend. Thank you for having me on. Thanks to Suralink for inviting me on here to talk about technology and how Whitley Penn has used it over the years. As a quick overview, Whitley Penn, if you want to go to the next slide, it'll kind of show we've got 9 offices throughout Texas, 1 in Hobbs, New Mexico. We have audit, tax, consulting, wealth management, forensic litigation. So we kind of run the gambit as far as services. We focus on a number of industries. Obviously, being in Texas, oil and gas is one of our larger ones, but we also have a pretty large healthcare, manufacturing, distribution, investments, private equity, and alternative investments as well, professional services, technology, real estate, to name some of them. So I like to say we pretty much play in every industry, with the exception of broker dealer. We don't really touch broker dealer, but otherwise, yeah. And our clients range from smaller privately owned to we have a PCOB practice as well, and 94-ish partners, and we bounce around 850 900 employees, kind of depending on how many interns we have at the time. um, Legend, if you want to go to the next one there. So this is just some of the, actually, I think Accounting Today just came out with their most recent rankings of top firms in the US. And we're ranked 35th in the nation by revenue. And then Vault Accounting has us, ranked number 20 in the nation. And that's a few of our other, best working place for parents, things like that. Those are always fun awards to get as a firm. And then Legend, what do we have on the next one? Yeah, we are also part of the HOB International affiliation. So being a Texas firm with the majority of our presence in Texas, we do have clients across the United States and as well as worldwide. And a lot of our clients, here in Texas and just in the U.S. in general, um, have operations in other nations, and we use HOB to help service those clients, among other things. I mean, it's a great affiliation. Oh yeah, and that just goes over our firm services here. I've kind of spoken to that. Our audit umbrella encompasses our private companies, our PCOB practice, our risk assessment services practice, as well as our public sector, governmental type audits. So in total, I think our audit practice is around 350 professionals. So not quite half of the size of the firm, but it's a pretty healthy portion.
Right. And I think uh, this is where we dive into the main topic. But Andy, thank you so much for introducing the firm.
Yeah,
And so again, just to reiterate what the topic for today's discussion will be is how you can use technology to accelerate firm-wide growth. So we're very excited again to have Andy, share his insight here. Now that we have a great understanding of the firm's focus and what kind of industries Whitley Penn works with. By the way, those are some very incredible accomplishments the firm has been able to earn. So I want to take a moment to congratulate Whitley Penn here. But moving forward and going into the discussion, I'm sure Whitley Penn, with all of the awards that they've received, isn't just going to stop right there, right? So
yeah,
if you could you share some of the firm's big goals?
yeah. I mean, as Willie Penn has always been a very high growth firm. It's always a huge focus of ours. Thinking about what the main goals are for the firm right now, um, I would be remiss not to put growth up there. It's definitely one of our big goals, but we also have a high focus on customer service and technology right now. Technology both internally and our client-facing technology. As we have grown somewhat rapidly over the last 10, 15 years, part of those growing pains come with the technology that worked for a 300-person firm doesn't work as well for a 800-person firm. So trying to get our tech stack internally and with our clients in better line, and our customer service. Part of that, I'll talk a lot about that today, and how we're using technology to better our customer service. But customer service growth and new service lines. We recently brought on an individual, Jake Bain, that we brought him in to kind of start and build our practice in AI and data analytics and products and digital transformation. And he's been awesome. We've got him. We got Frank Einelli that we brought in for strategic consulting, doing some great stuff over there. We have a whole oil and gas group that we're continually building. It might actually be expanding a little bit more here pretty soon. So yeah, I mean, I think I think we've got big goals around intentional growth and continuing to improve our client service.
Thank you for that insight. With growth being a very important goal, obviously, and I think that's one of the main topics really of this this discussion, which is how you can accelerate firm-wide growth. I know Whitley Penn has seen significant growth really over the last the past several years. Really, what
Yeah.
have been some of the main drivers of that growth?
Yeah, thinking through this, I mean, I think a big piece of that was just we have a growth mindset. We have partners that focus on that. We hire hungry, customer service oriented people, talent that have that entrepreneurial mindset. Going back to our original founding partners in Glenn Whitley and Jim Penn and Mark Topol, um, all of them were highly entrepreneurial individuals, and they attracted those types of people to the firm, and that has continued for a long time now. Um, we have a partner group um, that really looks to build their book of business with the intention of handing it down to the next the people coming up. Um, I'm still kind of one of those people coming up. I've been partner for about 3 years now, and um, I definitely couldn't have gotten there without the help of the my my partners that came before me that were able to, you know, introduce me to those clients and pass down a great book that I'm then able to grow and uh, pass off to others. I mean, that's kind of been our model for a long time. Um, that's the organic side of it, and I'd be remiss not to talk about also the incredible leadership that we have that focuses on being out there in the community, being out there in front of other firms, and finding those opportunities for us to also grow through some great mergers and acquisitions over the years that we're able to add a lot of firm firepower to us through those transactions.
Very good insights. It sounds like, that leadership, the growth mindset and the focus on customer service really has been some of the great drivers of that growth, if I got that right. So,
Yeah,
um, as you've gone through, all of that growth that we're talking about, what are some of the challenges that you've faced as you've gone through that growth?
yeah. I mean, I kind of think about I've been with the firm for a little over 13 years. I started as an intern, so that is one thing that's kind of cool about the firm is you'll hear a lot of that uh, intern to partner story. There are a number of us that are kind of considered Whitley Penn lifers that have been here a long time and plan to have a very long career here. But when I started with the firm, we had two offices. We were Fort Worth and Dallas, and that was it. Probably around 200 people. So in that time, we've gone from two offices, 200 people, to nine offices and close to 900 people. I mean, that's a big change. So some of the challenges that I've seen over my time here, and just being a part of that growth, um, has been kind of twofold. One has been the culture side of it. Not that I The thing that drew me to Whitley Penn originally and that's kept me at Whitley Penn is the culture. I love the people that I work with, and I think we Whitley Penn has always taken really good care of their employees, and so we my original department was, gosh, here in Fort Worth, 20 people, and everyone knew each other outside of work. We all hung out. It was a very uh, you know family type office, which was a lot of fun for me. Uh, as the department grows, I think that culture does kind of it can shift. And I think what's important here is um, we have to be much more intentional about that culture than what we were whenever we were 200 people and we were all able to see each other, all the time. Um, so we have more of a focus on making sure that we maintain our culture um, through making sure that we're taking care of our people, obviously, but doing the fun stuff, going to the happy hours, going to lunches, having events, going to Whirly Ball. If anybody knows what Whirly Ball is, it's a blast. Um, just some of the things that you know, customer service, technology, all of that is very important. But carving out the time to just hang out with people that you work with is, I think, really important. And it becomes more and more important as you get bigger and as you just don't have quite the same level of organic chemistry and culture that you originally had. And then the other challenge that I've seen is the technology side of it. And one of those is just rolling out new technology. It was a lot easier to implement a new piece of technology whenever you, you could you could roll it out and walk around the office and see, you know, 60-70% of your users and be able to sit with them and show them how to use it and make sure that they're using it on a daily basis. Um, I can't physically be present in 9 offices all the time. Um, so I think we have to be we have to really have a plan for any kind of new technology that we are rolling out. Um, you have to have a plan of attack. You have to have a plan of communication, making sure that you don't just throw it out there and people don't even know what it is or how to use it. And so you got to have the communication, you got to have the training, you got to have the follow up, and you got to have the people in physically in those offices that understand how to use it and are excited about it. And then finally, you got to have the strong leadership. You got to have the partner group that is is 100% on board with anything new that you're going to be rolling out. And it doesn't really matter whether all of my partners understand the technology or, if they're really the users of it, but they have to understand the vision and the reason and, yeah, why we are rolling out these new technologies and why it's important for us moving forward.
I think it's very interesting that you brought up, those two things in your culture and technology. At least in my company, I do know culture is very important to the company, and I'm sure that for a lot of firms out there, culture is a very important, um, challenge. Sometimes it's an important thing to have. Having good culture. I know it does definitely help with employee retention. I know, employees usually stay because of the culture, and so that's
Yeah.
very, very interesting take on that. And then technology. um, yeah, sorry, did you want to add something to?
Well, I was just going to say, even the culture thing and technology has become so even more of a focus since 2020. Just the additional challenge of if you have remote workers or if you're not in the office as much as you used to be, how do you then deal with uh, sustaining a culture as if you're seeing people every day? I think we're kind of in a fortunate situation where the majority of our workers are in the office. We have a few remote workers, and we're definitely not against it. We just the majority of our workforce is either here in the office or at a client. I can look out my office window and see a lot of the people that I work with, and I think that helps us quite a bit.
Yeah, I know technology has played a part in helping, that culture challenge when it comes to being remote. I know that it's definitely played. I know at least in our experience, we've had some virtual activities, virtual get-togethers and stuff like that. So technology definitely has played a role in helping that challenge of how do you keep that culture within the firm, within the company when everything is starting to be a bit more remote,
Yeah.
and so. No, very good insight. Thank you for the insight. And so, speaking of that, technology, how do those challenges shape how you approach technology now?
Yeah, and for us, technology is a huge focus for us as a firm and also us as a department. It's become more of a focus over the last, you know, I don't know, 5, 6 years. Part of that has been because of the growth that we've seen, but part of it has also been because of um, the audit industry just in general, and the standard setters, and there's been such a focus for them on moving more toward a data centric, data analytic type of testing and audit approach. And that particular set of skills is not necessarily what us auditors are trained to do. Um, in a way, it is, but not really the level of true data analytics that standard setters in the PCOB are looking for now. Um, you know, my education was centered more around gap and gas and really the technical accounting side of it. Um, so I think for us, the we have to make sure that we're not only getting the technology that we need, but also the people that we need. Knowing that, hey, my auditors, their core strength, their forte is gap, is knowing how to do a gas audit. Um, so we've we've been very intentional about going out and finding talent that doesn't have that skill set. They have the data analytic side. So we have a team that falls under me that they are not accountants. They'll likely never be CPAs, but they have masters in data science or data analytics. Those are the ones that we're arming them with the tools and technology that is more to their trade than accounting, but we they use those tools to then um, supplement and help our audit team.
Yeah, that's very good insight. So, it enables them really to, uh, um, really to do their job even better. So,
Yeah.
when you're looking at pieces of technology, what are some things that you look for when you're looking for maybe a new piece of technology, for instance?
Yeah, this is a good question. So my role here is as an audit partner, I have a book of business, but I also half of my job is client service and half of my job is um, innovation and technology for the audit group. Um, so with that comes a lot of emails and a lot of calls about new technology that's out there, from various vendors that are selling the newest and coolest piece of AI or data analytics or whatever it may be. Um, and and I love looking at that stuff. I think it's really cool, and I've seen some really cool software that is out there in the marketplace. Um, but we have to make sure that whenever we're looking at technology, I like to put it into one of three buckets. Does this improve the quality of the product that we are giving to our clients, or the quality of the audit product just in general? Is this going to be something that maybe peer review has mentioned it before, or PCOB or something like that? Like we need to solve for a problem around quality, or just an improvement of it. So I've got the quality bucket. I've got the efficiency. Is this a tool that is going to increase the efficiency of our audits? Um, prices of prices of audits can only rise so much, but prices of what we pay people also go up. I mean, our costs go up, and we can't always offset that with an increase in engagement letter. So where is that margin going to come from? And the answer is going to be technology. So efficiency, and then the third bucket is just does it provide an additional source of revenue or service line? Is this a tool that's going to enable us to provide something to our client that we haven't in the past? Um, so I look for technology partners and software that's going to hit one to two of those: efficiency, quality, new service. Um, and I want to see a track record, proof that they're able to work in the accounting industry. Are they working with some of the larger firms? I look at the top 20, the top 15. What are they working with? Um, I also look at their history of product enhancements. Is it a tool that they are putting putting their money into? Um, the leadership behind whatever software technology it is. Um, and then a big thing for me now is I want to see technology that wants to partner with other technology. Like I think the way of all, you got an application to do this and an application to do this and application here, and none of those talk to each other. I think that is kind of going away. We in the market, we are looking for best in breed technology that can interact with other technology to build automation and build efficiencies. I don't want to have to pull data out of here and put it into here and enter data twice. I want it to be able to flow between each other, whether that's through APIs or through an integration that they've already built, or something something that allows us to create some automation there.
Very interesting. I'll have to put a plug a little bit for Suralink. I know that that's kind of the direction we're wanting to take here with Suralink. For those who maybe who know or who don't know, Suralink is a PPC software, so we try to streamline um, the process when it comes to engaging with their clients and exchanging documents, especially during the PVC process. So that's kind of the direction we're taking, and I think. If other pieces of technology want to keep up with the competition, that's kind of the direction that they should be taking.
Yeah,
That you mentioned AI. As far as AI goes, I'd be lying if I didn't say I was using it. I do use ChatGPT, for instance. I use it a
sure.
lot to double check my emails and stuff like that. So this is just one-off question here that I have. Where do you think, at least in the accounting industry, where does AI fit? Do you think we're still too early in the stages, or do you think some firms need to or start getting some technologies need to already start getting on AI? Do you think we're a little behind as far as AI goes? And how important do you say is AI in
Sure.
technology?
Yeah, I get this question a lot. We did a whole presentation on it about a month ago. Um, Gartner's Hype Cycle just came out with their most recent one back in June, or around June, for artificial intelligence, and that was kind of interesting to see that curve and kind of where we are at right now in that hype cycle. I think we're still probably 2, 3 years away from AI being at a stage where it can be fully adopted and really have those practical applications. Um, I think right now it's kind of a buzzword in that I get asked about AI all the time. There people here at the firm or other firms or at conferences, whatever. It's a big buzz thing that everybody is talking about. However, this happened a few years ago with blockchain, and that that was supposed to change the accounting industry. And the problem with that was the application never really came to fruition as far as how it could be used on, you know, to actually permeate the accounting and audit industry. Who knows? Maybe it still might happen, but I feel like that was a big hype there for a little while, and then it's really come down now. AI, I think, is kind of in that phase where there's a lot of hype about it. There's a lot of talk about it. There's a lot of use cases out there for it. But a lot of applications are still kind of catching up to, or figuring out how do we make this so that it can be easily adopted. Um, so now, that to say, we are spending, Whitley Penn, we are spending a lot of time looking at it, and trying to decide how we want to start using it. And I do think it's unlike blockchain. I do think in 2, 3, maybe 5 years, it will be something that will be a daily application for us using in some way. It might not be quite as cool as what we think it could be right now, but it will definitely be uh, part of our uh, part of our normal technology.
Yeah. No, interesting. Appreciate your insight on that. And also appreciate your insight on what firms, what should, what you look for when you're looking at a new piece of technology. Another question we wanted to ask was also for firms that are currently experiencing some growth, what are some suggestions that you may have for those firms?
Yeah, I think the number one suggestion that I would have, and what I've seen in my experience here, is that you have to have the the strong leadership and backing. You have to have the partner group that is willing to put time, effort, resources to and a focus on technology, and it has to come from the top. If you don't have your management committee, your head of audit, head of tax, whoever, if you don't have them carving out their time to, you know, not necessarily. I'm not saying our director of audit spends a lot of time looking at technology, but he does spend time talking to me once a month at least about, this is what we're focusing on. Here are the initiatives that we're looking at. Here are the tools that we're piloting right now. Um, just because you, you need that accountability, and I think you need the that top level leadership to really get everybody else on board.
And I appreciate the insight. Specifically now, kind of the other way. Now, what pitfalls should they look out for, or do you have any tips or tricks for those?
Yeah, I think one pitfall is as you start looking at technology, it's really easy to get sucked into um, a cool tool. Like, hey, this is awesome.
Very
What is
flashy.
it? Yeah, it's very flashy, but what is it used for? It's kind of you found a cool hammer, but you have nothing to hit with it. Like, I think you need to figure out your nails first. You got to figure out what are the problems that you're trying to solve for before you ever start looking at technology out there. Because otherwise, you're going to get inundated with all of these different vendors and technology, and they have these bells and whistles, and it's yes, it is very cool, but you end up with a technology that you sit on the shelf and it isn't used. You so I think you got to spend a lot of time workshopping the problem, figure out what it is. I think it was I'm stealing this quote from somebody, but you have to fall in love with the problem. Um, I think that was the founder Ways or Yuri Levine. It was Yuri Levine that said, "Yeah, you got to fall in love with the problem. Spend a lot of time there so that whenever you do start looking at technology, you can narrow it down and say, okay, these are the vendors that I want to look at. All right, let's go talk to some other firms, figure out, what did they implement it? How did the implementation go? How has the rollout been? How's the adoption been? Um, yeah, just be very intentional about how you approach technology.
Yeah, thank you very much for that insight. Hopefully, with Suralink, that's kind of what you saw in us, and not necessarily something that was flashy,
Yeah,
and more so useful than more than anything else. So, wanted to take this maybe next few minutes, maybe to just talk about Suralink specifically. Now, you know what problems were you trying to solve when you were looking for at least for those who don't know, again, just a reminder, Surelink is a PVC software, right? Our
yeah,
software helps kind of streamline the process of requesting documents during that PVC process. So specifically, what were you trying to solve, Andy,
sure.
when you were looking for a PVC request list solution?
Yeah, and that's a good segue there. I mean, I think for us, and we adopted Suralink back in, I think it was 2019. It was either 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. So we've been on it now for 5 or 6 years. And prior to that, we were using more of a Dropbox type solution. It wasn't Dropbox, but it was a secure file drop area that we would send uh, PBC list, a request list to our clients, to our audit clients in Excel, and say, okay, here's a link to this file Dropbox where you can load up those requests into there. And what we saw as our challenge was both on our side from an efficiency standpoint and the client's side from just that experience that they were having. Um, because if you just have an Excel sheet and they're throwing stuff in there, there's no organization to it. Our auditors would go in there and see, something. Some clients were awesome at labeling stuff. They'd label it request number one, request number two. Other clients would just kind of toss stuff in there as they scanned it or had it available, and you would look through and try to figure out, all right, what is this document trying to solve on this PVC list over here? Um, so there was a lot of back and forth between clients and teams on, what are these items. I think there was also some duplicate requests in there where the teams would ask for something that was already on the PVC list, and then maybe the client had already given to them, but it was hard to tell, and or maybe somebody else had looked at it and pulled it down and they didn't see it. I mean, it was just, it wasn't the client experience that we were looking for. We wanted a more streamlined client experience where they go to one place, the list is already there. Hey, the list of what I need is here, and where you upload it is in the same place, and you can drag it directly to that request so that our team knows, okay, that whenever I ask for the AR detail, all right, that is the AR detail. And it sounds like a very simple, like, well, that's easy. Find the AR detail. But anybody that's been doing audit for a long time would know that, even though you're asking for an AR detail, you could be auditing a client that has 6 or 7 subsidiaries, and that AR, they could have 6 or 7 AR details. Heck, they could have multiple AR accounts. So it gets more complicated in practice, and having it more organized, having the client experience more streamlined, has that was really what we were looking for, is better client experience and less time going back and forth just trying to get the data. Because whenever you really think about it, an audit is about ensuring that their financial statements are materially accurate, right? Um, the more time we're spending just getting the data, the that's wasted time. That's not time that is valuable to our audit. I want the auditors spending time on evaluating that AR detail, reading the lease agreements, dealing with the actual accounting side of it. So that was our problem, and that was where we went to the market to see what we could find. Um, Suralink was one that we looked at. We had it narrowed down to three. Um, so there was Suralink and two other vendors that made similar software. Um, so I think uh, our reason for choosing Suralink over the other ones was we felt like the client experience was the most smooth with Suralink, and we've seen that over the last 5 6 years. I think our client feedback has been incredibly positive. We have every single audit that we do runs through Suralink, and every client of ours touches it. And we we either get no feedback from them or the feedback of, yeah, it works, which is really high praise, right? Uh, it works. It was not difficult. Great. That's what we want to hear.
We appreciate the feedback definitely about Suralink. I think we can get a kind of a general theme here as far as what you're what to look for in pieces of software. I think you mentioned that also in the previous question, but it looks like customer service, uh, customer experience is one of the biggest things that you look at, and one of the things that also helps kind of accelerate that firm growth if you're able to provide them experiences that are user friendly that help them save time. I think you mentioned that as well. Sounds like those are kind of some pretty big drivers when it comes to even retaining clients, getting new clients, being able to provide them pieces of software that do improve the efficiency. It would really in any kind of process of the of when you're engaging with your clients, us specifically during that PVC process. So we do appreciate all that feedback. So I'll just maybe one more question about Suralink specifically. So what are some, how has implementing Suralink actually benefited your firm and supported the growth that you've seen?
Yeah. I mean, I think going back to your very first question, one of our goals, I think a big goal of ours is we want to be a top tier accounting and audit firm. We want to be a premier solution for clients in the mid market to large market, mid to large market companies. And a big piece of that is we have to have the technology to back that up. And that technology needs to be from the very beginning, the first touch point we have with clients all the way to where we're issuing the audit. So Suralink is really kind of baked into all of that, and making sure that it is easy for them to use, and a good experience for them. That's just it's critical for us. So I think it's really helped in uh, that client experience. Also, over the last 6 years, we've had a lot of growth, just in audit. And Suralink being able to scale with us as we grow has been really important to us. And for a product like Suralink, for a tool like that, no news is good news. And so me not hearing about Suralink crashing or having issues as we get bigger is great. And and that's just not something that I deal with, because we've gone from having, you know I don't know, a few hundred engagements in there to a few thousand. I can't remember how many we're up to or how many documents we have. Legend, I know you and I sit down like once a year and we kind of go through, hey, this is the gigabytes of data that have gone through Suralink this year, and it's some massive, crazy number. Um, so that's always kind of cool to see. And hey, you've had this many engagements use Suralink, and seeing that number grow every year. It's pretty cool. And then I'm really excited by some of the things that Suralink is doing with partnering with other technologies. Validus is one that you guys have, recently announced that you're partnering with, and Whitley Penn is also a big user of Validus. So hearing that is pretty exciting for us. Um, Getting back to, I love whenever I can start connecting softwares, and instead of my client having to go to two different places, go to one stop shop. Hey, I send you Suralink, and everything is right there. It's easier for them, and we get a more efficient audit done.
Yeah, we're very excited about all the integrations we're coming up with. Validus being one of them, one of the biggest ones that we're coming out with. So very excited to see where that will take us. Very excited about the future with Suralink. And so yeah, integrations we do believe is very important. Integrating with other systems. We know we can't become the one shop for everything, and so
Yeah.
integrating with other systems, is definitely the next step that makes sense. And so. But yeah, Andy, appreciate all the insights, all the feedback and the responses that you've given us. Hopefully that has helped at least all of the attendees here. As they're going through those growths, as they're looking to use and leverage technology to accelerate that growth that they're currently going through. And so I believe we have about 4 more minutes left for this webinar. So we want to give people enough time to address their questions or ask any as well. But before we get into that, any last thoughts you wanted to add before we dive into question and answers?
Sure. I mean, one thing that I had written down here was just kind of some for if there are any people out there that are considering Suralink or implementing it, currently in an implementation. If you want to know any like best practices or things that we've seen, one of our big pushes this year is data cleanup and making sure that we don't have client data just floating out there anywhere. Suralink has an archiving ability, and making sure that like day one you have an archive policy in place. And Suralink recently came out with some APIs that'll help you actually monitor that archiving policy a lot closer. So we're working with our development team internally now to make some put some good guardrails around that so that we have clean clean data that's not out there for longer than it should be. The other thing I would recommend is making sure that you create some good templates. Create templates within Suralink that you can then clone for other engagements. So we have those. We also sometimes just clone engagements that are similar. Um, but yeah, those are two big ones that, especially after having Suralink for a while, the I would recommend to anybody that's implementing it.
No, appreciate it. And also thanks for touching on those APIs. I
Yeah,
think, we're talking about innovation, to accelerate the firm-wide growth, and all of that, automating some of these processes that you're doing, through integrations, through APIs, and all of that is definitely key to at least having your, keeping up with that growth. You want to be able to scale some of your processes and automation definitely through APIs and through those integrations is a big factor in being able to scale throughout that growth. So
yeah,
thank you, Andy. So yeah, we'll go ahead and give a little bit of time till the end of the webinar to go through some of the questions that we received. So we did receive one question here, and we're going to start answering these live. Is
sure.
how does your admin team help with your process with taking from Suralink and sending final deliverables to client? What can admin do to help audit more?
Yeah, so we this is actually one of those process things that we are currently working on internally, getting that final deliverable to the client. Um, we we send some of it through Suralink, but we don't have a hard and fast rule where all of our deliverables go through Suralink. I would prefer all of them to, but we we don't quite have that process down yet. We're also looking into we're building out some technology internally around engagement letters and rep letters and deliverables in general. So it might be that we kind of put that through that new tool instead of Suralink. Um, but yeah, to answer your question, our admin team, we generally, the partners, the managers are generally the ones that get the final deliverable to our clients, whether it's sending it through Suralink or sending it through a secure uh, uh, other platform. Uh, Email being one of them, encrypted. But that
Thank you.
I'm not sure if that fully answered your question, uh, but that that's something that we are currently working on.
Thanks, Andy. There was this other question. I think this one is more so directed to Suralink specifically, and how Suralink can support this functionality is there a way to turn on notifications for when someone else in the firm adds documents to a client's engagement? Like if the accounting team adds financials on a client's behalf, the tax team would like to get a notification, but it only tells us when the clients add anything. So it sounds like you're wanting to see how this would be a great question, to ask. There is a way you should be able to get notifications also when another firm member uploads a file. But we'll have to take this one out of the webinar and maybe address that. Please reach out to us if you have a customer success manager. Reach out to your customer success manager to show how you can do that, or also reach out to our support team. Would be happy to help, kind of explore how you can set that up and receive notifications from other team members and not only for clients. So it's a good question. We'll maybe have time for one more question. I know we did say that this webinar would be 50 minutes. One more was, how have you helped Andy, this one specifically for you, how have you helped clients through the onboarding? Our clients don't like change very much.
Hey, that's fair. I think that's change management with clients is always a fun topic. Um, we Whenever we switched from Excel to Suralink, we did have some clients that were a little more resistant to the change. They still preferred to email some documents to us, or just drag and drop it like anywhere into Suralink, not really to the request. So I think it's taken time. Again, we've been doing this for 5-6 years, and those first couple of years, yeah, it was a little bit more of a um, uh, guiding clients to, hey, instead of emailing, send it over here. One thing that we talk to our clients a lot about is just security and how the more we can get out of sending stuff through email, the more secure we are with your data and and mitigating any of those possibilities of data data loss, data leakage, any of that. That along with promoting to them, hey, the other huge advantage to this is if you send something to Susie over here and Susie then goes on vacation or uh, you know ends up in the hospital or whatever, she's gone. Well, John over here doesn't know anything about that, and so he can't pick up that thread easily. If if you use Suralink, if you use a product that it's all in one place, then we're able to work a lot more collaboratively internally. That way, if I do in certain cases, if I have to change the person that's working on it for some reason, then that new person can pick it up and get rolling really quickly. So and that's messaging, controlling the message that you're sending to your clients, and it might not be something that is a 1 year thing. It might be a you continue to push that message for 2 years before the client finally says, okay, yeah, I understand the advantages here.
Yeah, it sounds like for change management and stuff like that, it really is important. The way that you communicate with your clients, maybe why this change is being done, and just really preparing them for
Yeah.
that. So, no, very good insight. With that said, I think we've come at time. Andy, thank you again. Thank you so much for participating with us in this webinar. Thank you for all the
Yeah.
insight, for the feedback. For all of those who have attended, thank you so much for joining and for participating. One thing I just wanted to mention for the question about notifications, please do. It's important for us that we're able to help you figure out kind of what ways you can get those notifications when other team members upload files. So please, on behalf of clients, so please, please reach out to either support, either a customer success manager. This one would take maybe, we'd love to maybe hop on a call with you one-on-one. We want to help you figure how you can get those notifications as well. So please do reach out to us. We can set up some time or walk you through that. We just wanted to do that outside of the webinar because it might warrant a screen share of Suralink and all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, but again, thank you. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah. Thank you
Again,
for
one more
having me
time.
on. This is great.
Yeah, yeah, very grateful for your time. And everyone else, very grateful. Thanks for joining the webinar. Everyone have a great rest of your day.